Hello and welcome back to Road TRIpVIA, the once-a-day road trip trivia quiz. Today's episode is number 987. We are working our way to episode number 1000. That'll happen next week. Today's questions have been sent in by Mike from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. 21-question trivia quiz with 20 questions up front and a question 21 tiebreaker at the very end of the video if you need to stick around for that. Lots of good ones today. Good luck. Question 1. What famous actress did Truman Capote, who wrote the novella that Breakfast at Tiffany's was based upon, desire to play the lead role of Holly Golightly rather than Audrey Hepburn, who the author thought was a very poor choice? Instead of Audrey Hepburn, he thought Marilyn Monroe would have been a better choice. Question number 2. What former sea captain, who was heavily involved in the North American slave trade, as he both was a slave and then profited from the trading of human beings, later became an abolitionist and wrote one of the most famous and often sung Christian hymns, Amazing Grace? The man who wrote Amazing Grace was John Newton. Question number 3. Small parts of the Bible are written in Aramaic rather than Hebrew or Greek, which make up most of the text. Ezra has 67 verses in Aramaic, but what book of the scripture contains the most Aramaic verses with a total of 200? The answer is Daniel. Question number 4. The immortal John Ritter played Jack Tripper on the ABC sitcom Three's Company. He is mainly known for flirting with his female roommates, getting into odd predicaments, and being constantly injured. What was Jack Tripper's job? The answer is as chef. Question number 5. Dr. J played for the Virginia Squires and the New York Nets in the American Basketball Association, and then the Philadelphia 76ers in the National Basketball Association. What is the first and last name of Dr. J? His name is Julius Erving. Question number 6. George Washington was elected as the first president of the United States under the Constitution. And although 13 colonies fought for freedom, only how many states cast electoral votes in this first election? There were 13 colonies, but only 10 voted in the first election. Question number 7. 007s are authorized to kill people by the British government. In order to facilitate this arduous task, James Bond traditionally prefers to carry a PPK or a P99 model pistol made by what company? Those were both made by Walther. Question number 8. What very sweet soda was originally developed as a mixer for alcoholic beverages, especially for moonshine, as the soda has a name that was synonymous with moonshine, in the 1940s by Tennessee bottlers Barney and Allie Hartman? That soda is a personal favorite of mine. The answer, Mountain Dew. Question number 9. They were considered a supergroup because the drummer came from ELP, the bassist and singer came from King Crimson, and the guitarist and keyboard player were both with Yes, among other bands. What 4-member band had the highest selling album of 1982? The answer is Asia. Question number 10. Famous for the songs Wrecking Ball and Party in the USA, she is known as Miley and has an alter ego as Hannah Montana. But what was the first name this daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus was given at birth? I had no idea her real name wasn't Miley Ray Cyrus. She was born Destiny Hope Cyrus. Question 11. This Nordic country went to war with the USSR in 1939, while the Allies were battling Germany and Italy in a conflict called the Winter War. What is the name of this nation that has cities like Helsinki, Tampere, and Turku? The answer, Finland. Question number 12. What river, which at 444 miles long is considered the longest on the eastern coast of the United States, has a northern branch that begins in New York and a western branch that begins in Pennsylvania? That river is the Susquehanna. Question 13. What is the birth name of the Marvel hero who goes by the superhero name of Iron Man, who appeared in the first Avengers comic book way back in September of 1963, along with the Hulk and Thor? The answer is Tony Stark, or Anthony Stark. Question number 14. With such cars as the Pacer, the Javelin, the Gremlin, and the Rambler, AMC was a leading manufacturer of automobiles for over 2 decades. What does the C stand for in American Motors acronym? The answer is corporation. Question 15. We know he grew up as a poor boy on the planet Corellia, learned to speak Wookiee, is an expert driver and flyer, and saves the rebellion along with Luke and Chewie. What is the name of this former smuggler who becomes a general in the Rebel Alliance? The answer, Han Solo. Question number 16. William Wallace, who attempted to free Scotland from English rule in the late 13th century and the early 14th century, was ultimately defeated and executed by King Edward I. What popular 1995 movie was made about his life? The answer, Braveheart. Question 17. What is the name of the human-like aardvark who lives with his father David and his mother Jane, his 2 younger sisters Dora Winifred, who is in preschool, and Kate, who is still an infant, and his dog Pal. His name is Arthur. Question number 18. What glam rock band formed in England in 1968 and had such great hits as The Ballroom Blitz and Love is Like Oxygen throughout the 1970s, but as of 2021, only the former guitarist Andy Scott is still living? The answer is Sweet, sometimes called The Sweet. Question 19. Curly and Judd chase after the beautiful farm girl Lori in the musical by Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein, named after what panhandled state which features a memorable song of the same name? The answer is Oklahoma. And question 20. This state claims George H.W. Bush, Dorothea Dix, Joshua Chamberlain, Linda Lavin, and Judd Nelson as native-born citizens. What is the name of this state that borders only one other state in the United States of America? That state is the state of Maine. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching today's episode, and thank you to Mike for sending in the questions. Mike is from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. If that city sounds familiar, that's because I think it was episode 978. John was also from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. He sent in the questions for episode 978. I assume John and Mike know each other. I've never heard of Shippensburg, so it might be bigger than I'm thinking, but it sounds kind of like a smaller city. Anyways, this is a perfect time to remind you to tell your friends about Road TRIpVIA, because if Mike and John are friends and they both submitted quizzes to this challenge, then if one wins, I assume he's going to take the other one at least out for a drink or a good dinner. It's always a good idea to let your friends in when you found something cool, like, I don't know, let's say a trivia channel on YouTube would be a perfect example. The more, the merrier. If you two don't know each other, then now's a perfect time to meet somebody with similar interest in the small town of Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. Find out where the local trivia night is, which bar it's at. Send me a message. I'll make the short 6.5 hour drive. We'll get on a team and we'll win the local trivia night and split the prize. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Anyways, I'm blabbering now. Mike, thank you for the questions. John, thank you for the questions back on episode 978. Here is question 21 for today's trivia, the tiebreaker. You might have had it as a sauce or in a pie after it was softened by cooking and a copious amount of sugar was added. What is this rather sour plant in the family Polygonaceae that has red stalks that are edible but leaves that are poisonous? The plant we're looking for is rhubarb. And that is it for today. Thank you again to everybody for watching. Thank you to Mike for the great questions. See you tomorrow.